It's the Whitey and Chris Show, SA Bros.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SA Bros from myself, Whitey, and my brother over there, Chris. How you doing, brother?
Lekker, bro. I had the fortune of sharing a day with a really nice guy and doing quite a bit of work. Like really got into my my artistic kind of flavors and stuff. It was moer lekker, dude. Ek het 'n lekker dag gehad, ou.
Awesome.
Vandag was 'n cool dag vir my. Ek het dit enjoy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've got a little surprise for you. It is a pre-recorded show today because unfortunately Krijay started a new project today because she got a permit, so she's going to be out of it. So we recorded an interview with Miss Krijay Govender. So we're going to do it. We will be monitoring YouTube and Facebook. Chris, waar gaan jy monitor?
Dude, ek sal op YouTube bly hou, dan sal ek lekker kak praat daar met almal.
All right, and I'll then go to Facebook. So everybody, we're gonna do the record, play the recording now. So just bear with us, and yeah, we'll talk to you on the social media. Welkom aan Takbok, Sue Ellen. Hello. How you doing? So guys, we are ready. Here we go.
Lekker. It's the Whitey and Chris Show, SA Bros.
Yes. Good evening, everybody, to a very special pre-recorded SA Bro show. How you, brother Chris? How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing awesome. You know what? We are fortunate that today's it's lekker warm today. Even though it's like freezing when you're in the shade, the sun is out, it's lekker warm. And we are like blessed to have like this amazing woman in our presence today, man. We haven't had, this is our second lady. And
Yes.
Dude, what a banger. This girl has done everything. I think we are going to talk about stuff that will shock people that they didn't know about Krijay Govender. Apart from her comedy and stuff, she does a lot of work backstage. And
Yes.
let's get her on, man.
Yes. How's it, Krijay? How you doing?
Hey guys, how's it? How are you?
Very well, and you?
Good.
So yeah,
It's so funny. One is shaved and one is unshaved. What is that? Before and after pictures that we've got.
there you go. And the one is big and the other one is small. Lauren and Lardy.
I'm not gonna say who.
Yeah, let's keep that to our wives. They can decide. Nah, Chris.
Oh yeah. Straight up.
So, Krijay, how have you been? How's lockdown treating you? What you been up to in this last month and a half that we've been stuck in at home?
Well, it was crazy. I had a bit of a family tragedy, so that wasn't great to start. Not a great way to start the interview, but I had my brother that passed on from a heart attack, and this is something very interesting because this is actually sort of like a side effect of coronavirus. Everybody was so nervous about going to hospital, and so was him. And all of us, we just said to him, "Don't go to hospital because you could get this virus." And meanwhile, the poor thing was having a heart attack, and we didn't even know it because, you know, he had all the symptoms, but he was 35 years old, so nobody really expected it. So it started off, like my lockdown started off with a bang, and police and you try going and trying to arrange a funeral and all of that during lockdown. And so that was very, very challenging, very emotional, of course, because very close to my brother. I just had one. Yeah. And then the other part of it, that happened right at the beginning of lockdown. The other part of it is just staying with family, husband, better or worse, and 3 kids. different ages, 14, I think the other one is 10 or 11, could be 11, and then the 5-year-old boy who can't understand why everybody's home but nobody's giving him attention because of this online schooling and all of those things. So that was I don't think it's challenging. I think it's and then obviously going through what everybody's going through, which is you keep wanting to wake up out of this dream nightmare. You know, and then the few times that I've been out, because I had to do a bit of shopping and those sort of things, just to have people masked. I mean, we're in entertainment, so visual is so important to us. But to have people just completely masked, you can't communicate at all. So that freaked me out just a little bit. But I didn't mind the time, especially you grieving a bit, so I didn't mind that time, but also the time to reflect on, I think what everybody is reflecting on, what it is that I really want to eat.
And not to get too fat.
Oh,
I mean, end up doing, right? And people are sending recipes, like people you haven't heard from in years are sending you like recipes, you know. So.
And tell me, have you started brewing anything yet? Because I know every South African's turning into a master brewer in their own like backyards.
No, I haven't. But my husband's family, on their family chat, I mean, I think they've done every sort of anything they could basically get their hands on that had liquid that came out of it. They tried to brew and make some things. And they had 2 questions every time the president came on. When was liquor going to be back, and when was Nando's going to be open? Those are the 2.
Not even cigarettes.
Yeah, not even that. No. So
Nando's, that's a good one.
Yeah, man. You know, we know you as a comedian. I'll get into that just now. But you are also like one of the most proficient directors in South Africa. You are working on some of the biggest stuff. We've got a huge Afrikaans following, and I doubt they know that you were actually the director for Sevendelaan.
Yeah, part of there were 3 of us, part of the team. I've just left them now to go and direct another show. Sevendelaan is in studio and it's actually closed at the moment. So, our industry is basically closed, but we are going back to finish a show called Housekeepers. Sevendelaan is stunning, you know. It's a show that's got a lot of heart. It's, in my opinion, probably one of the truly South African shows in terms of its crew, in terms of its cast, in terms of its story. And I recently watched a docu on the Boer War, and as I was watching that, I'm like, these names that are coming up sound so familiar, because we still keep those names like De Wet and all of that alive on Sevendelaan. And so I really, it's an amazing program. It's completely invested in this country, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to be a part of the team. And my dad, actually, before he passed, my gosh, I sound like my entire family is dead. But before my dad passed, he watched something that I directed, which was very violent. And then he turned to me and he said to me, well, why don't you just direct Sevendelaan? And I thought, well, I've never really thought of that before. You know, Afrikaans is my second language, and I can speak it. I understand it brilliantly, and my speaking is dreadful. I probably know just too many slangs and swear words. And then I decided to join that team. And when I joined it, I realized how South African it really is, and how proudly South African the show is. And that's why I enjoyed being a part of that team.
Well, you know what? Like you're a girl from KZN, and I know there's a lot of girls in KZN that's thinking, how do I get into acting? Because you started with the comedy and the acting and stuff. You're an award-winning actress. What advice can you give like other younger girls and other young ladies to like follow their dream? Depending, it doesn't matter where they come from. What advice will you give them to like get into acting?
Well, I'm very much by the book when it comes to the entertainment industry, and particularly acting and directing, because I studied that. And as a director, there are very few people that you meet that are really good and untrained. Just as an example, I think Willem, the character Willem on Seven Delan, I don't think he's a trained actor, but he's superb, just superb. But that's a rarity. You won't get that very often. That's the exception to the rule. If you want to get into entertainment, you've really, I think, got to pay your dues and study a little bit, just so that you understand how the industry works, and that you don't have to start at the bottom. You know what I mean? Just go and apply yourself and do a few courses, and watch. Really, if you want to be an actress, just watch great acting. So,
Okay, well, that's some good advice right there. So yeah, for all the ladies who's going to watch tomorrow night, take note of this. That's great. Just a little thing to come back to Seven Delan. Many years ago, I did some background, what do you call it? The guys in the back, extra work. Yes. And I actually did some on, I was on Seven Delan 2 or 3 times, but I'm talking right at the beginning when it started. I did some stuff on Isidingo, Generations. Then there's another Afrikaans one that they shot there in Milpark Studios.
Yeah.
And then I did Igoli as well, quite a lot back in the day.
You have to find, but can I say something of being an extra?
Yes.
If you want to be an extra, all right, the trick is not to stand out. Do you get what I'm saying? Because otherwise they will cut you out in editing. If you decide there as you're walking past, just to do that to your mom or something, we will cut that shot out in editing.
Yes, yes, I remember.
Is to be as natural as possible, and so that's what you've got to do. So the fact that you've lasted in so many shows, you know what I mean. It's also, can I just say, it's a wonderful place to, if you're a single person, being an extra, you get to meet other single people or married people.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
A lot of people are being extra. So,
what you said there, yes, it was horrible hours sometimes, 5 o'clock in the morning until 8, 9 at night. Yes, it sometimes got to me. But what you mentioned there about if something happens in the shot that you stand out, they'll cut it out. I remember the one time, Villa Rosa, that's it. That was the program. Villa Rosa. Yes. For some, I don't know how it happened by accident, but all the extras they got were midgets. Now, when I say midgets, I don't mean actual midgets. I just mean people that are 5 foot nothing. Because I stand 6'8". I stand 6'8". That's all. And they put us all in the scene where we all had to walk and something. And I was towering above everybody. And the actors back then were also short guys. So when they looked at it, they just saw everybody's heads walking, and then they just saw this mountain walking, moving around, and they like say, no, we have to get rid of the tall dude. He's confusing everything. Yeah. And I stood out, not by not doing anything, but the camera cut me off by my shoulders. And then they just saw this body moving because all the actors and the actresses were so short. And it was one of the funniest days of my life because they actually brought me in and they said, look here, we can use you for other things and so on, but for this shot, I'm sorry, you have to go home.
When we need a Sasquatch, we could get you. If we need a Bigfoot,
it was brilliant. And then, sorry, the interview is about you, but I remember also then from my extra work,
and your time on Berlin.
It's fun.
I did actually eventually upgrade to, I can't remember which show. I had a one-liner. And then, you guys remember the old board game, Cluedo?
Yes.
Where you had to solve a murder, and there's a this, and there's a doctor, and this, and that. I got a part to be the police officer as one of the suspects. And they made the board game.
What was the line that you said?
The line that I said, I can't remember what it was. If it was a goalie or something, I think it was back in the day of my. I was in the gym. I remember I worked in the gym and I was a trainer. This is before I was fat. This is when I was still good looking and plumpy.
This is before the lockdown.
Yes. I've tried to look for it. I have no idea how to search because I'm talking 15, 16 years ago. So
I will find it. I've got a talent to find stuff.
Well, there you go.
I can't wait. Oh,
okay,
anyway,
let's get back to you.
Let's
Krijay.
get back to you, Krijay. Krijay, obviously you see the humor in life and everything. What drove you to like get into comedy? Because comedy, there's nothing more honest and more scary than standing alone on a mic. What got you into comedy that like gave you that freedom as like one of the funniest women in South Africa and in the world?
I think the way in which I deal with maybe tragedy and pain, and a lot of people do. I think the way in which I deal with stuff is I've always looked at the funny side from the time I was a little girl. And the way in which I got into comedy professionally was actually, there was a friend of mine in Durbs, useless producer, who had to arrange 12 people to audition for Russell Peters. Otherwise he couldn't get paid. And he had 11 people to audition to open for Russell Peters. And I worked as an MC and an actress, and I said jokes, but I wrote my own jokes anyway, but I didn't really know I was doing stand-up at that time. And he said to me, listen, he's not going to get paid if he doesn't have 12 people, so can you just come up to the Hilton Hotel, I think it was, and can you audition for Russell Peters to open? And so the night before that, I had a huge gig, a local gig, but so I had no issues with just helping my friend out so that he could get paid. I pitched up the next morning, and then they said, who wants to go first? So I put my hand up because, doing him a favor so he can get paid. And I went on stage and I did 5 minutes of comedy, my own jokes, and I left. And to my horror, I think 2 hours later, I got a call to say, well, we're going to open for Russell Peters. And
brilliant.
One of the kings, man. Russell's like the man. He's the Mac.
So that started me off professionally. And then, of course, if you were in Durbs and you did comedy, John Christmas is somebody that, is very, very instrumental in a lot of people's lives and in comedy country. And you can't talk about stand-up comedy without including John Christmas. So John said to me, come up to Joburg and you should start working in comedy in Joburg. And one thing led to the other. And then directing and acting and all of that is all a part of what I did anyway, because I'm an entertainer. And of course, I belong to a minority group, the Indians. Yeah. So if you're not in corruption or politics or business, you have to have something on the side. No, I'm kidding.
It's absolute truth. As a white male in South Africa, we're also minority now, so I can totally relate. I
just want to focus on one particular thing. I mean, I just didn't want to do comedy. And quite frankly, I am most comfortable doing conferences where I can joke with an audience, but then also engage the audience intellectually on what it is that they're doing and, lift the energy of a room, because I really enjoyed that in terms of live performance. And then directing happened from, I was an actress on Isidingo, and then I decided to hang out with the box, we call it the box, the studio, and then from there, they kind of gave me a test, and then they said, okay, well, why don't you come and direct for us? So it wasn't that quick, but it was that was a bit about being at the right place at the right time, together with being bored with acting, because there's very few roles for Indian women, So I would have been unemployed if I didn't diversify. So.
Well, thank God you did, because you have raised the bar in South African production and everything. And you actually, despite all the stuff you've worked with, I've watched a lot of your comedy, and I was blessed to be in your presence a couple of times. But to me, your energy, I've never seen you in a conference, but I've seen you in smaller venues, and I've noted how you draw off energy. Is there certain characters or guys that you'll pick out that you can go, oh, I'm gonna nail this guy, or this? Is there some stuff that you go to as your first go-to?
I think I depend a lot. I depend a lot on the energy in the room, and if somebody is making me nervous, if I'm on stage, particularly if somebody's not smiling or laughing or just. It's so strange. You could have 1 million people laughing, but the one guy that doesn't laugh, it affects you,
Absolutely,
because we're in a fickle industry. I mean, we do things for applauses. So what do you expect? So what I do is that I go for that guy so that I can feel comfortable, feed off his energy. And sometimes the poor guy he's actually enjoying himself. He's just not a laughy, smiley guy.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in, I know everybody's different, but I don't swear in my comedy. I've just never liked it. And I work a lot in corporate, so I just, swearing is not something I do that much. I don't do it in reality. I think my husband has probably heard a swear word or two. But I don't do it in reality, and I don't swear as a director or anything like that. So I didn't want to incorporate that into comedy. And then I'm not an aggressive comedian, so I don't like to embarrass people because they've paid to come watch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm there. I like people to feel included and inclusive. So I do that. So even if I attack a guy or somebody in the audience, I'll do it to win him over and not to isolate him, because I do believe people paid or to come and watch, so they should actually have an awesome time laughing. And that's it.
Yeah, that's
Mother's Day is coming up. It's around the corner, and I know you're a happy mom from what you've told us.
It was before lockdown. I thought I had a good family before lockdown. I really did. Now I realize I'm living with leeches. All right?
Absolutely, yeah. So
when they see you, all they see is, what can I eat? What's to eat? That's it.
Well, on Mother's Day, you can turn that role around. So you can go, listen, guys, I've been looking after you all this time. Now you've got to spoil me. So maybe this is a great platform to tell us how you would like to get spoiled when it's your
there
day.
You go.
What's going to be the nice stuff for you? Oh yeah.
On Mother's Day, I just really want everyone around me to leave. Can they just leave? Just go. Take the mask and the new shield thing that we've got now. The mask, the shield, the whole thing, and leave.
Come really. Back. Footsack.
Yeah.
Footsack is just leave.
Yeah. Just
leave. And I just want to see my girlfriends. I think every woman, deep down inside, all you want to do is you just want to see your girlfriends. I don't know. I think guys feel the same way. They just want to see their mates. But I know I just want to see my girlfriends. And when we see each other, we won't even listen to each other. It'll be verbal diarrhea, just complaining, but just to get it out. So I really want to see my girlfriend.
Well, that's a nightmare for me. I think if I've got to see my wife and all the work chicky friends, even the guys that she works with, I think that the first day that everybody's back at work, I'm glad I'm not in that office or anything, because I will lose my mind. I can just imagine.
You won't lose your mind. You'll lose your reputation, because she's going to have a billion things. But I did hear a sad fact, which is in China, there was a lot of divorce after their lockdown.
Yeah.
That's I don't think that's going to happen in South Africa, because we can't afford it.
We can't afford it.
Yeah, and some of us live on plots where you can just get rid of a body. You can just dig a hole and the problem's solved. That's one of the bargains here. There's all this space. Yeah.
Now, Krijay, tell us quickly, is there any social media where our fans can go check up more about you? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Probably on Instagram a bit more than Facebook. So, but obviously, because of my brother passing, I'm not posting a lot of things right now, because I'm not in that space at all. And I'm probably posting more. I'll tell you one thing, I have been posting far more religious things, because I'm Christian. I'm probably not a great example of a Christian. That's why I don't really advertise that I'm Christian. But I think the lockdown on a spiritual level has been great time for I don't know about you guys, but great time to connect with the prophecies and things in the Bible that you would usually stay away from, like the book of Revelations and all of that. So, and with my brother passing, obviously I had a lot of questions and those sort of things. So I really did use it to connect a little bit with Christ.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know what, this
I'm not
time
one of
has
those
been.
people I'm not one of those people that says spiritual nonsense. I believe in Christ. So yeah.
Well, you know what? It's a great time. I think everybody has found a bit of spirituality, even if you're not a very spiritual person. I know me and me and Whitey have been ordained as ministers now. He's the reverend now.
Of what?
This is no joke. We are in what's our church? What's our group that we're in, Whitey?
Universal Life Church.
Yeah, we are ministers
We've been
in
ordained.
Universal Life Church. I'm not lying to you. We are
You're in the
certified
lockdown.
ministers. Yeah, in the lockdown. Look, there's his certificate.
I don't have a color printer.
Oh my gosh, I'm so worried about the condition of the churches.
You know what
I
I
mean,
think?
that's desperate times, guys.
I
Yeah,
have to hide all my tattoos and everything. Huh?
yeah. But it's all right. You look great in one of those dresses, Whitey. And that's enough about our being preachers and stuff. But
Yes.
Krijay, you know what? I know everybody's having a hard time and going nuts. And you being one of the ladies on our show, is there any like advice you can give the other ladies on how to like keep your sanity, just or how to just escape being like blockaded in, even though you've got enough space and everything? How do you release your mind? How do you get out?
I think sleep. I
Sleep.
think there's nothing wrong with sleeping. Sleep as much as you can.
Yeah.
I think rather than give ladies advice, let me do the opposite.
Yeah.
Because let me give the guys a bit of advice.
Nice.
Most of your wives and partners, I think that we need attention. We really, really need attention.
Yeah.
And like my husband is stuck right now as we speak. I mean, he's stuck in the study. He gets up at 7 in the morning. He's a workaholic. I know that. 7 in the morning, and then I see him at 7 at night. And every now and then we push food through a little hole, and then he comes out and he goes to the loo with his devices, and he goes to the loo with video games. But I think, and there was a video game that's on because apparently you get some points or something. I don't know, but it's very frustrating if guys choose to spend time with video games than their partners, because I think a lot of the women are giving quite a bit during lockdown, taking care of kids, or if you don't have kids, checking on parents and checking on in-laws and checking that the families are okay, and eating everybody, and making it interesting, and do you know what I mean? And I think we need a little bit of attention, and that's not necessarily candle lights and flowers, though flowers from the garden would be great, but I just think some interesting conversation beyond what's to eat, and or are we having that again? So I think a little bit of attention where you can have some adult conversation is very important for women to survive lockdown.
And you know what? I think every guy can actually listen up there. I know I'm guilty of it. Although my wife is also a gameaholic. Thank God she's into computers and stuff. But I will definitely make some more time to spend with her. But Krijay, this is an important one. What is your like go-to comfort food in this time?
You won't believe it, but I have been I've done the opposite during this time, is that I started watching what I'm eating during this time, and I started exercising a lot during this time. Also, another way to deal with grief and pain and all of that, just to, really torture myself. But go-to comfort food is bread. It really is bread. I mean, and I do it in the mornings. I go and get bread. I made bread. And every now and then, I got to show you this. Every now and then, I have one of these, which is buttermilk rusks.
Yes, Oma's
buttermilk rusks.
It's so lekker,
with black coffee. I think that's a go-to comfort food for all South Africans is rusks.
Exactly.
Especially now that it's getting cold. So.
100%.
Gosh, I'm actually doing an ad.
I think we've taken up enough of your time. We'll make a
Oh, please,
plan to.
you've been the only two guys that have given me attention over the last month. Don't leave me,
Oh,
please.
we'll phone you every day. This is fun, man. This is lekker. But Krijay, we gotta say, you know what? As a fan of yours now, and always been a comedy fan and everything, we gotta say thank you and big up for you, our second lady on here. You are so much fun to speak to, and keep doing what you're doing. We love your shows. We love what you do.
Thank you.
And thank you for blessing us with your presence today. This is a total blessing. I'm not lying. This is amazing. About just speaking to another woman other than my wife and my daughter is already a huge escape. So
Me
thank
too.
you very much. Yeah,
Thank
and you
you.
still have a sense of humor through all of this. And I think all the women and guys out there can learn something about having a positive outlook and a comedic outlook about everything, and still seeing, I don't know, something good in all the pain and through everything. And you are a
I
perfect
think we
example
need
of
it.
that.
And also,
Absolutely.
it's a very South African trait. You know,
Yeah.
we always look for the funny. And you guys are doing a great job, by the way.
Thank
Really,
you
really
very
good.
much.
And let's hope after lockdown we can still continue working with you at Standing Ovations Entertainment.
Oh, please. I love working with you guys. So please, after lockdown.
I just hope we can survive that. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, guys. Look, this is not a sari or anything, by the way. This is a blanket. Just in case you can't see me. It's a blanket.
Well, stay warm and stay safe.
Yeah.
All right. Mwah. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Dude, how awesome is Krijay, man?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's sad that we couldn't do it live for you
Yeah.
guys, because it's you're gonna watch it tomorrow night. For you, it will be Thursday night. So, but you'll get to meet her and see her like that. So I'm glad we could still get some time for her, because the reason why she couldn't, she's starting tomorrow with Housekeepers, a new series, or not Housekeepers, one of the new series. I can't actually say which one.
Yeah.
No, Housekeepers. She's currently busy with. There's another one that she's gonna be starting. I can't actually say it just yet, but So, guys, that was Krijay. So tomorrow night we've got Chris and Dani van Heerden, because remember, you're only watching it Thursday night. So Chris and Dani van Heerden, the EFC heavyweight champ, and Chris the Heat van Heerden, the boxing champion. So that's going to be proper.
Yeah, and it's it's our first international interview. One guy's actually in Santa Monica in the States.
Yes.
So that's going to be
Chris.
Ja, so Chris, my naamgenoot, hy's in Santa Monica, so dit gaan moerse cool wees om hom te check. Dude, gaan hy nie om 'n world record te breek op Sondag nie?
Yes, hy gaan vir ons vertel, is 'n treadmill challenge of een of ander so ding.
So treadmill marathon. Hy gaan 42 km hardloop op een plek.
Yes, terdaai. Ja, ek kan nie eers badkamer toe hardloop nie. Nou wil hy op een plek 42 km hardloop,
hè. Ek admire hierdie dudes, dude. Ek gaan nie dit doen nie. En hoor jy sê, ek hoop julle het ons interview geniet van gister saam met ou François van Cooke, the legend. Oh, what an awesome bro. En dankie dat julle SA Bro support. Ouens, hou dit alive. Keep it alive. We love you guys, and we love doing this for you. And to all the, you know what, we haven't said thank you to all the celebs. Thank you guys for just taking that time, having a chat with us, and just being freaking normal, having a lekker fucking chit-chat. This moerse cool om met julle ons te chat. And thank you for believing in us, man.
Yeah. So guys, just like I said, thank you so much. We love you guys. Thank you for doing this. And please, guys, remember to like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
So we'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Have an awesome time. Cheers.
Salute. Well, goodbye, everybody. From SA Bro.